Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Please check your audio and video.
Hi, Shivani, am I audible?
Yeah, sir, you are. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Also, I request Rabia ma'am also to turn on her camera.
Hi Shivani, am I
Hello, ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Neeta, ma'am, can you please turn on your mic and camera for testing? Dr. Neeta, ma'am, you there?
Am I visible, Shivani? Hello?
Not
Am I
yet,
visible to
ma'am.
you?
No, ma'am. Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
yes.
visible?
Now, yes, ma'am. Now you are visible. Thank you so much.
Fine. All right.
Oh, wow.
Evening, everyone. Wishing you all a happy new year and a warm welcome to the webinar. I'm Sharon Augustine, moderating the webinar with my colleague Shivani Bhatia. Like every webinar, here is the survey on your screen. I request everyone, as well as the panelists, to fill it while we wait for other participants to join in. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. A warm and a humble welcome to the 22nd webinar of the webinar series under Youth and Adolescent Health. My name is Shivani Bhatia.
And I am Sharon Augustine. We will be moderating today's webinar together. I once again welcome all the panelists, principal, teachers, public health professionals, and especially the health ambassadors.
A brief introduction about SHARP NGO. SHARP stands for School Health Annual Report Program. It's a pan-India non-governmental health organization working from over 21 years in the field of holistic development and healthcare of students and children. Working as a public health organization, especially for children, we believe that having a right mindset is one of the most important factors for a student to be an independent and a healthy adult.
New Year is always seen as a new beginning, filled with hope and positivity. During this time of the year, people make resolutions or plans for the betterment of their future. On this occasion, Sharp NGO brings forward the topic of discussion on growth mindset in adolescent to lead a positive life. Growth mindset, explained by Carol Dweck, is people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talents are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Students who follow the aspect of growth mindset believe that they can learn more if they work hard, view challenges and failures as opportunities to improve their learnings and skills.
Whether it is the personal life of students or the environment of school. COVID-19 pandemic has changed things that were never thought of before. From mental health issues to anxiety, distraction, negativity, and a sum of the issues being faced by the student during this pandemic, affecting their growth mindset and giving us a large scope to discuss on how we can help our youth and adolescent to have a right growth mindset for a positive life ahead. And for the same objective of discussion, we have with us our esteemed panelist, Mr. Raamann Ahuja, Dr. Atul Bengri, Ms. Rabia Bhatia, and Dr. Neeta Bali. We welcome you all. Few instructions before we start the webinar. We will let each panelist speak first for the 5 minutes and then take up the question answer round. I request all the panelists to stick to the time limit and audience can drop their question in the Q&A box. We will be taking up after the panelist addressal. Also, I request the audience to not fill the chat box with unnecessary messages. We may tend to miss out the important question.
Without further ado, we invite our first panelist for the day, Mr. Atul Bengri, Vice President Director, Acumen Today Private Limited. He's an individual with over 22 years of experience in the IT industry with focus on digital transformation in the healthcare, enterprise, education, and government verticals. He has a proven track record on successes through strategic industry relationship, planning, sales, and marketing. Strong leadership and the ability to meet goals as well as identify and develop new opportunities in competitive and niche markets is one of his abilities. We welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon, for the wonderful introduction. And Shivani, thank you so much for this opportunity to the entire team of Sharp NGO. To begin with, can I just start with sharing my screen so that we can have the presentation put up?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here I go. Okay, so it's really a pleasure to be part of your webinar number 22, focusing on the youth and adolescent health. In fact, my earlier presentation on the same topic was, I think, in the month of August, which was on national education policy and also the mental health issues that the students would be facing. So the discussion points today are broadly mentioned as the agenda, which has been circulated. I'll not go into the details of this, but I will definitely touch base on all of this in the due course of the presentation. So, challenging times ahead. We need to get prepared and we need to get ready. That's the new normal, and that's the new norm that we all have been forced by the year 2020. The whole year has passed by. We have faced the challenges. We have seen a lot of things change in our lives. Are these changes going to remain or are they going to change? It's for the time to tell. But if you ask most of us, I think there's a lot of learning that we all have undergone in the last 7, 8, or 9 months. And these learnings are for our good. These learnings for our growth. So let's take a look at what this is. And I would start with the quote of Charles Darwin. he is the father of evolution, if we want to talk about. He says it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And what better way to experience all of this in a way that we have adapted ourselves, adapted to every situation that 2020 has thrown to us. I would have loved to have a physical interaction with all of you, but it's not possible because of a lot of reasons. Nevertheless, we have adapted ourselves of attending to such a webinar wherein I'm talking to all of you through a digital and a technology medium, but I'm actually staring at a screen. It's not human. It is like I'm talking to a machine. Of course, machine learning and artificial intelligence are also talk of the town, but that's not the focus today. But nevertheless, this is what we have adopted to, and going forward, it's going to be there. And the most important thing for all of us as we are in 21st century is that I will be called an illiterate, not just because I cannot read or write, but if I am not able to learn, unlearn, and relearn, as Toffler has said. We have learned a lot of things, we have unlearned a lot of things, and we are relearning a lot of things. And that is what is going to help us going forward, not just us as educators or as parents, but also as students. And that's exactly what we will talk about today. It's all about the mindset. It's about getting into the right frame of mind and bringing about the right thought processes, the right attitude, the right aptitude, the right behavior, the right skills for us to have the right mindset, have the right frame of mind going forward. With all the negativity around, and it's very easy to be negative. And it's very easy to propagate negativity. Rather, negativity propagates faster than the positive mindset or the positive growth that we're talking about. And that's the reason why we have this webinar, to talk on the growth mindset. So we are all having a lot of fixations. We need to move away from being fixed to being a little bit mixed, because all of a sudden I can't change. I need to take baby steps. So with a fixed mindset, I cannot do anything. I need to open up, and that opening up starts slowly, steadily, and then the growth would come up automatically. And once I know that I can move from being fixed to mixed to the growth, it is basically I'm saying that I'm capable of learning, unlearning, and relearning a lot of new things, or things that I knew in a different way, wherein I'm applying it in a different manner now. So that is what we all talk about. Going forward, the new normal challenges are very confusing. They have brought about a lot of complexities. It in a lot of sense of being perplexed. Why that has led to is because students have switched to an online learning mode. Never has been the case that we shifted completely to an online mode. It was a hybrid mode. I would go to a school. As a student, I would go to a school, and then probably at home, if I want to look at something more, I would probably get onto a digital mode. But now it is completely digital. Limited assistance in learning, because it becomes very limited. My learning is limited to only that interaction for a limited period of time, and it limits to only my thinking and my frame of mind and my mindset. The collective learning has got a hit. And then disruptions of outdoor and social activities. This has played an havoc with the psychology of the children. And I will substantiate it with the research that has been conducted. I will talk about it, but these are some of the salient points wherein it has led to a lot of emotional dependency, the clinginess, the emotional turmoil that it has played on all of our minds. Not just adults, but more so with the children, especially the students. They're all being very irritable, This is one of the commonest psychological conditions that we have all faced, especially the children and the students across the globe. We have a lot of data from other countries, very limited data of India, but the points are all the same. The challenges are the same. Difficulty in paying attention, difficulty in attention. They are not able to provide the necessary attention and be attentive to some of the important aspects that they have been taught. There is a lot of distraction that happens, which is quite natural, and symptoms of anxiety and depression. While we were students, we never heard of words like depression. But these days, it's becoming very, very common. And this pandemic has led to a lot of these issues actually coming to the fore. And then feeling of burdensomeness. There is a lot of burden on the children is what the children feel. Yes, probably. Because of uncertain future, because of not knowing what they're doing, or rather they're doing too many things, multitasking. They want to do a lot of things because of probably peer pressure, or because of parents, or because of they themselves having interest. For whatever reason, the burdensomeness is also playing a major role. So this is actually the outcome of a national mental well-being survey conducted by Health Parliament. This was conducted in the month of November 2020, so it's very recent. It covered close to over 500 students across India. I will not go into the details, but I will talk about it at a high level. But again, what Stephen Hawking says is that intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Yes, again, after Charles Darwin, I'm quoting this from Stephen Hawking, which says intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Yes, and we are all born intelligent. As human race, we are all born intelligent. And that is the ability that we all have, which helps us to adapt to change. And 2020 is a wonderful year, if you look at it, for testing our intelligence, testing our adaptability, testing our learning, testing all of the new things that the life has thrown to us. So this is about the survey. I will not go into the details. Little bit about this, wherein it was conducted for 15 years and above to the age of 29. And this is what it talks about. It captured students from 9th to 12th standard for sure, graduation and post-graduation courses. And look at this. Only 17% of the children or the students didn't have any practical, and 83% faced a lot of issues because they were not able to conduct those practical experiments, and that led to a lot of learning deficiency, which would mean that the curriculum was more theoretical for them, which has led to a lot of stress. Okay, so what happened? So the impact of pandemic has actually thrown open on common issues of behavioral issues like stress, anxiety, reduced concentration, I'm not able to concentrate, and difficulties in routine activities, because my whole timetable, my whole schedule of the day has been thrown to the winds. I'm at sea at getting to come to terms with anything that is happening. And only 1% of the participant didn't face any. That's really meager number. Okay, so look at this. So when asked on the ease of performing daily activities, 29% they had disturbed sleeping pattern, and 26% spoke about loss of interest in performing tasks. So many students have got the feeling of losing interest. That's a very alarming thing. That's very bad, in fact, when it comes to losing interest in performing tasks. That's not what should happen to any student. And disturbed sleep pattern, of course, we can change it. Now look at the figure number 8, is a distribution of health problem. What has led to all of this? 53%, there's weight gain. Oh my goodness, yes. No physical activity, that is leading to a lot of health issues, physical health issues, which is also leading to a lot of mental health issues. So probably there needs to be some corrective measures before the students start going into the next academic year into physical schools. And look at the 47%. It talks about high screen exposure leading to health issues. Yes, we've all seen a lot of students going to ophthalmologists, to neurologists, to psychologists, to counselors, and a whole lot of issues that have cropped up, not just because of high screen exposure, but what else would a student do sitting at home? Thanks to technology, thanks to digital interventions, we have ways and means in which I can keep my mind engaged. And when I'm keeping my mind engaged, that leads to a toxic positivity. Now we'll come to what toxic positivity is, but this is all leading to a lot of issues, which is talking about feeling of being helpless, reduced concentration, I spoke about, reduced motivation. I'm not motivated to do anything. Losing interest in doing things is a very bad thing to talk about at this age when we talk about adolescence. And then stress, of course, and mood swings. Not necessarily all of this are induced by the pandemic. It is also because of the age-related issues of the hormonal changes and the endocrines being at their peak, and a whole lot of other growth and developmental issues that adolescent age has. But then, to add to this pandemic has put in anxiety and a whole lot of other stuff. So, digital device distancing is what we from Acumen today, that's my education entrepreneurial stint that I am working on for the last almost 3 years now, is to look at how can I look at distancing myself from the digital device. We have all got used to social distancing. Of course, these days nobody is that much bothered, but we still need to be looking at social distancing and extending the same concept. We at Acumen today have brought about 10 reasons for the students, especially the students. Of course, it holds good for the elders also, but focusing on the children and especially the adolescent children, digital device distancing is also something that needs to practice. And we have 10 very small, interesting videos that we have created and put on YouTube, which actually talks about that it is distracting, it is waste of time, sleep disruption, attention
Sorry
deficiency.
to interrupt, sir.
Yes,
so
let me
we
know.
are running out of time.
Oh yeah, so one more minute and I'm done. Right?
Thank you.
So it definitely leads to a lot of mental health issues, which we will open up during the discussion. But for the time being, this is what I will end up with, which is added to the stress of many students not able to understand the nuances of online classes. There have been academic delays, there have been academic uncertainties, the timetable has gone for a toss, and there is a lot of students who have the inability to join classes, and about their future and their career and what life has in store for them going forward has put in a lot of pressure, and that's where we are today to discuss. So let me pause here, let me stop and hand it over back to Sharon and Shivani. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for showing us the alarming stats and how adaptable to change is so important, and we have to be prepared and ready for the new challenges. Thank you so much. Now I call upon Ms. Rabia Bhatia, Chief Mentor at Sports Academy Association of India. She is the co-founder of Asiatic International Business Academy as a change maker, educator, motivator, mentor, HR professional brand and communication head. She is a professional host, speaker, moderator, and a trainer. Ms. Rabia is a coordinator at Global EduLeader Forum and a panel member with International Trainer Federation. We are so happy to have you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you so much for such a beautiful introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank the Sharp NGO, Sharon, Shivani, and the entire team of Sharp for inviting me on this platform to be here with my co-panelists, such senior leaders where I would be talking less and learning a lot from all the leaders. So yes, very rightly, Dr. Atul, I mean, the way he has shared the stats of all the students, what they are going through currently, and why they are going through currently, I can easily understand that because I'm so closely working with the students. I can differentiate between the idealism and the realistic behavior of the students at this current point of time. No doubt, as Dr. Atul said, it is not only because of the pandemic situation, but yes, having said that, this pandemic has a it's a we say that it's a icing on the cake. It is the icing on the cake, because of which the teens which who were already feeling frustrated because of certain hormone changes or something like that, or due to sitting at home idle at times, the students skip 1 year during this age, and they really want to do something. They want to go for a experience. They want to do something for a job, for experience, and they at times they do not get a job. At that point of time, they start idealizing the situations. They start mentally getting frustrated because of those scenarios. Having said that, the students, if we talk about as a mentor or as a student, as a parent also, there are certain things which are just here, mental. We have to change the mindsets, and those mindsets, there's a possibility the students can change due to the surroundings. They can automatically change themselves, but at times they need that kind of support, that kind of encouragement from their surroundings, from their environment, from their educators, their extended families, their peers, the friends. The students, the growth of the mindset of the students is very important during the teenagers, between the teenage or between the years of 12 to 18, when the brains are actually, their brain development is there as a teenager, as an adolescent. That's where the mentor, the peer pressure works and forces the student that yes, whether you have to build those scenarios in your mind or you have to understand the real world. That is what I say, as Dr. Atul rightly said, that this pandemic, because of this pandemic, we or students, we have learned a lot. And I'll just share what exactly we have learned, and we are able to help the students also, because at the end of the day, be it as a student, be it as a parent, we all learn from each other, and that is how we would be able to encourage the students. We will be able to motivate each other. Till the time we as elders are not motivated, are not encouraged, we will not be able to help these adolescents as well for the growth of the mindset as well. So as I'm taking the mentoring sessions for the students, the career counseling sessions for the students, at this point of time, the students are so frustrated. They are actually losing interest in going out, in attending the online classes. Be it a fun learning activity based class or a practical project based learning class, but they are now frustrated. They want to go out because somewhere or the other, that physical bonding with their teachers, with their friends, with their relatives, with their extended families is missing now. What the students are going through, they are getting into depression, as Dr. Atul said. They are getting into stress. Now the scenario is changed from those or the complete the lecture based classes. The teachers as parents, as role models, we have started with the life skills training, the vocational based trainings for the students. Even we are making it practical based learning, wherein the students are doing some kind of practical life experiences so that their mindset can grow in a right way. If we continue with those rote learning, thanks to NEP, thanks to this new education policy which has come into picture, which totally talks about the life skills management. Life skills is important, right? How important, how mandatory it is for the student to learn the actuality of life, to not only make those ideas, but understand the real experiences. They can enjoy the real life experiences. They can understand. They will go out, whether they're going out or not. At home also, they are made to learn those experiences. They're doing, for example, they are asked to sow a seed and see how the plant grows. So the mind is actually growing at a positive stage. Now, with respect to the not only the adolescents, I think the students at the early age are also getting affected because of this pandemic. They are their mind, why they're not able to go out, they're not able to play with their friends, they are not able to attend those physical activities in the class. In mentoring sessions, what we are helping, how we are helping the students, that this scenario, this pandemic, what we have learned is the creativity. The creativity skills have come into picture. Earlier, we were though creative, but we were not technically equipped. We were not digitally equipped. But this pandemic has made us understood that yes, we need to create certain applications, those applications, fun based activities, those applications which where the student can learn. We are making our own YouTube videos. The teachers have come into picture, how they are doing the mental sessions, they are doing these lifestyle sessions related to stress management, related to happiness, how important gratitude is in our life, so that we can encourage the student to help each other, to support each other. What we learn and what we are actually trying to help the students to learn also, that the pandemic has taught us the 4 C's of life and 3 E's of life. I'll just quickly share the 4 C's. Collaboration. Now, on this webinar, what we are doing, it's a collaborative learning we are doing. And if students are able to, if students will take interest, this is how we explain that why these webinar and online classes are important for them, because we all learn from each other. So till the time we don't collaborate with each other, we will not be able to learn those. The, we are able to collaborate across the globe now through thanks to all online media, digitally equipped classes. The second we learned from this pandemic, and what we are trying to make the adolescent and the youngsters also understand, that compassion, be compassionate. Even as teachers, even as educators, we also understand that we have to understand the psychology, the mental state of a student, and just not go towards the lecture based class. If student is not taking interest, leave that moment and let him go, let her go out of the class, give her time, so relax, and then they can come up fresh in the next class. Thirdly, we understood how important is critical thinking, be it for a student, be it for the anybody. Critical thinking, if we are not thinking critically, we will not be able to cross this 6 to 7 months of pandemic. We actually went ahead and think. We actually did what we did actually. We actually did the think beyond. How we think beyond that, how we can make our classes more effective, more engaging, and more realistic rather than only idealistic. So this was a difference between idealism and realistic. And the last point we learned is uh, uh, creativity. We all became creative out of the box automatically. So we have started learning from students. Students are able to help us with this because they are more digitally advanced. They have been using these apps for more duration rather than we being elder. So I think we are all learning, and that is how we are able to make the student understand that what is the difference between idealist situation and realistic situation. This pandemic was actually a very realistic situation to understand all the challenges, as Dr. Atul said, learn, unlearn, learn, and relearn, and we all are doing that. And the 3 E's which I actually help my students to understand is the enhancement. Till we are not able to enhance ourselves, we will not be able to empower others. So enhancement is the key factor to the growth mindset, to the growth of the mindset of all the students, of all the youngsters, be it young professionals. The second is enhancement that leads to empowerment. They will empower each other, and that is how the world will grow. The students' mindset will grow. They'll be able to work on a different factor. The third is be empathetic. Very importantly, be empathetic towards each other. First towards yourself and then towards the others as well. So I think this was all I wanted to share, how we are able to distinguish between the idealistic situations and the realistic situations. So thank you all, and I'm open to any question and answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really enjoyed your addressal, and especially thank you for sharing us about the 4 C's and 3 E's. And I understand that it will really help the students to face the challenges in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
So our next panelist for the day is Dr. Neeta Bali, Director, Principal, Head of School at GD Goenka World School. She has the skill and passion to turn around any institution as a head, and her track record as a head of the school clearly reflects this. She is a seasoned speaker and have been invited to various conferences as an educational expert. She is also an author, have written articles for many leading publishers. She is well versed with modern educational practices and can add value to any system which she is part of. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I'm deeply touched by such wonderful things that you said about me. I would like to focus on something which is slightly different from what the other two speakers have said, because as an educator, as a practicing educator, I think I need to focus on a perspective of an educator to a student. Both panelists spoke about the challenges that young people are facing, which only seem to be growing worse by the day. And as educators who are very closely involved with students who are now completely confined to online learning, we can see in a day-to-day situation that they seem to be grappling with a whole host of emotional and psychological problems. And as educators, I think it is our moral responsibility and duty to ensure that we assist these young people to emerge out of this entire gamut of feelings that they seem to be reeling under. So, first and foremost, I would say we need to explain to young people that they should not get caught up in a fixed mindset. They need to understand the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. They need to understand that you may have some inherent abilities that you probably have grown up with, or attitudes, but with due diligence, you can always change these abilities and attitudes, and you can enhance your abilities. You can do so much more with yourself. So I think that's the first thing young people need to understand. They need to get out of this trap of a fixed mindset, you know, and this fixed mindset is generally reinforced by parents, unfortunately, by parents, by teachers, by society at large, because we continue to tell, you've always been like this. Well, this is the way you were when you were young, and this is, you've taken it forward as you've grown older. You really haven't emerged. So I think the first thing we need to tell the young people is you can always outgrow. You can always outgrow whatever inherent limitations, so to say. I will not call them limitations per se. Whatever inherent traits you have, you can always outgrow and always enhance your abilities. That's the first thing we need to tell young people. So first thing first, I think to ensure a growth mindset, positive reinforcement. Day in and day out, positive reinforcement, both as parents, as teachers, as educators, as society, if you want to help young people. Simple, straight language, commend all that they do. Give them a lot of positive reinforcement so that it builds their self-esteem. And when you build on people's self-esteem, you can definitely overcome a lot of emotional and psychological problems and situations. Second, I think we need to tell them that we are all in this together. When we say we are all in this together, we need to let them know that you're not alone. that everybody across the globe is facing a similar set of challenges. So if everybody is facing a similar set of challenges, we are all in this together. So let's hold one another's hand and brave these challenges. All right. Let's face these challenges bravely. If you're terrified in the face of this challenge, and most of them are very, very terrified, let me tell you. I've had children who have written messages to teachers. Some who feel close to me have written messages to me urging us to help them. I can't concentrate. I can't study. I don't know what to do with myself. So you have to tell them, even if you're terrified, you have to face this challenge. Stop. Reframe the situation in your mind. Consider this challenge as an opportunity. Let them see challenges as opportunities for growth. Give them ways and means of using these challenges as opportunities to shift and help them to shift their perspective. Unless they shift their perspective, there can never be a growth mindset. The next thing I'd say is encourage them, even though they're at home, encourage them to build a regimen. When I say a regimen, a routine. There's something very comforting about a routine. When you get up in the morning, even if you're at home and you have classes scheduled for the day or you have other things scheduled for the day, ask them to create a regimen and commit it to paper and ask them to try and adhere to that regimen as far as possible. Because when you adhere to that regimen, it gives you a sense of comfort and also a sense of accomplishment. Because if you're able to achieve what you set down, to complete over a period of time during the day, then it gives you a sense of achievement and definitely goes a long way in boosting your morale. So, and the next thing, teach children, young people, that they must pay attention to their words, because the words you speak and the words in your mind also determine your attitude. Teach them the value of positive language, using positive jargon, so that it reinforces a positive mindset. Ask them, watch yourself, listen to what you're saying, and listen to what you're thinking in your mind. Stop yourself, censor yourself, become your own guide. You will have to continually replace your negative thoughts with positive ones. Every time there is a negative thought, push it away and make sure that it's replaced by a positive thought. Finally, I would say be completely non-judgmental with young people. The moment we are judgmental with young people, I think we are completely killing whatever positivity they have. So if you need to show a lot of compassion and respect for young people, also respect for the fact that they may be suffering from a trauma and panic. Ask them, encourage them to find somebody to speak with. Necessary, find a therapist, get help. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Get help. And it could be help from, somebody who's a professional, not necessarily a professional. Sometimes you can get help from within the family, a member of the family who you could treat as a confidant, a friend, a relative, a teacher, a mentor. Encourage them to find a confidant and articulate their feelings. It's very important to vent, and equally important for us to listen. So I would urge all teachers, educators, psychologists, therapists, anyone, adults, older people, listen, because listening itself is very, very therapeutic. When you listen to people, I think you take away a lot of pain. You take away a lot of pain. So I would say, this is pretty much it. When you cultivate a sense of purpose amongst people, you give them something to look up to, and you teach them the ability to cope. You have to work on their coping mechanism. So suggest ways of developing this coping mechanism. It could be spirituality, it could be meditation, It could be venting in front of a therapist or an adult. It could be finding value in small things that you do. And I think that's the way we can encourage a growth mindset and ask them to be realistic in their expectations also, because you can't, in a situation like this, you cannot hope for overnight results in anything. So tell them speed is not important. Finally, tell the young people, own your attitude. You are the ones who can determine how you think. Cultivate resilience. Teach them the art of cultivating resilience. Give them ways and means of cultivating resilience. And I'm sure a lot of young people will come through.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, we have to stop being judgmental, and we have to let each others know that we all are in same situation, and we need to take this as an opportunity and come as brave as possible. Thank you so much. Now I call upon Mr. Raman Ahuja. Mr. Raman is working as a Senior Vice President HR for CK Birla Group, heading corporate human resource, which operate in technology, home and building, healthcare, and education. He has worked in different countries like India, US, Middle East, Southeast Asia region. He also worked with the Thermo Fisher based out of Singapore as the head HR for Southeast Asia and Taiwan. Mr. Raman, with a leadership experience of 24 years, has worked with large MNCs, companies like Asian Paint, HSBC, and Standard Chartered, and also with IT startup in Chicago, US. We are so honored to have you, sir. Over to you.
Shivani, and good to be with the August panelists. And I feel myself as an odd man out. I'll give a quick. I know time is the essence here. So for the benefit of the audience, and I think it's a group of students, teachers, educationists, and all. I'm probably a good example of somebody who's seen both fixed mindset and growth mindset as an individual. And my journey to or exposure to growth mindset has been accidental. It was 2 years back when I was in Singapore, and my managing director for the region that I was leading asked me, I said, what do you think is missing in our region? And for some buzzword, I said, I think growth mindset is missing. And what was in my mind was we were growing at a 5%. When I was in India, we were growing at 12%. So in my mind, growth mindset was the incremental business growth. And when I started dwelling into it, I realized it's not just revenue, it's not just resources, it's something in the mind that's holding my leaders back from not delivering. And that's where the quest for understanding growth mindset. And I bumped into a wonderful consultant in Singapore. They exposed me to Carol Dweck's philosophy of growth mindset. But before I go there, I also want to tell you a little bit about the personal journey. So I'm an engineer. I'm a chemical engineer. I've done sales. I'm an accidental human resource professional because the fixed mindset taught me salespeople were superior than any other breed in corporate life, right? So I very unhappy to be in human resource when I started my career. But luckily, I met people who were extremely positive around me, and they gave me an exposure. And they said, "Look, what you make of your job is all about you. The job is just a job that helps you earn, but what you make out of it is a lot about you." And I think that was my first brush unknowingly to growth mindset. I'm a father to two teenagers. I have two girls, and they keep whipping me badly to change my fixed mindset. What I want to share with you is some thoughts. What I've realized, 2020, I know a lot of people are looking at 2020 as not one of the best year, but if I have to don my hat of growth mindset, I think it's a year which has given opportunity to think about feelings than just about results and outcomes. Poor mental health of students and adults, in my mind, has been a hush-hush affair. And with technology, social media, people opening up to these critical subjects, it just come to the forefront. And I heard my fellow panelists talk about it. And it's so good to hear the openness about these subjects, because when in my age, and as Shivani ensured or Sharon ensured to share with everybody, I'm a dated 25-year-old. When we were born, but when my age group was born, if you were a boy, you were an engineer by birth. If you were a girl, you were a doctor by birth, right? So those were the choices in our career. And I had to study both biology and maths because I didn't know which way I'm going to head, whether I'll become an engineer or a doctor, right? I think the pressures were even then. We didn't talk about it, as as Atul was talking about some of the pressure that's coming to fore. Now that I've become a parent, we talk about passing marks, percentage achieved. We don't talk about talents, hobbies, interest of our children. We shun failure at home, as Dr. Neeta was talking about. Even as parent, I'm talking about. We don't celebrate little successes, even if my child participate or comes third or fourth in the race. We are like, why didn't you come first, right? The whole philosophy of making your child feel he or she is the best, the greatest, and hence anything less than great is not acceptable. I think a lot of us, whether we are parents or teachers or I'm in corporate, we are imposing, our happiness is linked to their school reports, for example, as a parent. And we are shamelessly happy sharing our children's results on WhatsApp group as trophies, right? So I think that's where the whole conflict comes in everybody's mind. Let me be honest, I have not been raised with a growth mindset. We were raised with a fixed mindset. And hence, as a parent, I'm not trained to raise my kids with a growth mindset. Guess what? We experiment with our kids as we read, as we learn. We tend to do better with our second child. And my second daughter jokes with my elder one, and she says, "You are an experimental kid because parents experimented everything, their choices on you. They realized what was wrong, and now they are more sure with me when they talk to me about education or what to do, choices they make." I think the summary I want to give to all of us is, I think at the end of it, we are human. Uh, we have learned from our parents, from the environment we grew in, to expect the world to change overnight just because we had a pandemic. I think the only thing that changes, we are on screen, right? The mindsets are still the same. There is a lot of work we need to do, especially teachers, a lot parents. I think our language needs to change. Sharing an example of corporate life, we believe culture is what we speak in corporates. It is truly same for growth mindset. What we speak in schools, how we treat our kids at home is truly going to do the transition. It's not going to be just reading books. Our language needs to change. And if you allow me, I know I have a limited time here. I have a 5 slider. I thought I'll just quickly share if I can. Okay, is it? Can you see the deck? Shani, is the deck?
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
Okay. You see, I'm more a visual person, so I just don't want to talk through my 10 minutes. Quickly here, and I've been asking this question: what motivates people to try hard in life? Some people are highly motivated, some are not, right? And I'm sure the target audience here understands growth mindset, both as a concept, philosophy, the Carol Dweck's theory around it, the research that's gone into it. Here is what I thought for the group, why we are talking mindset. And when I was invited for the session, I was so glad I am, because I realized after school, college, where does our talent, where does our youth go into? They go into corporate. What they are taught, what they imbibe, they bring it to corporate life. That's what we call culture, the millennials, whatever we call them, right? This is growth mindset that Dr. Neeta spoke about, Atul referred to, and Rabia spoke about. I just thought I'll share in just, we are all a product of what we bring to the table. And I thought I'll share this slide. This was a beautiful one. What fixed mindset does to us is, this is what goals in school and corporate look like. I want to look smart. A growth mindset person would say, you know what, I want to learn. I want to do a new role. I want to grow. A fixed mindset will not value effort, whereas a growth mindset will value effort. A fixed mindset person will give up when they fail, whether it's a school or a corporate, even at home, even when it's as good as learning a music instrument. Whereas a growth mindset person, both in school and at corporate, would work harder. What I have also seen from experience is, why does it matter to all of us, right? I'm in corporate, I hire people, I hire leaders, CEOs, and very senior professionals. This is what we do. Corporate is looking for result. Result is driven by your behavior at work, and behavior is driven by deep-seated mindset that drives that, right? And that's where, if we are fixed, well, I'm using the word fixed, I think we will be much happier professionals. We will be much happier individuals. We'll be much happier spouses, parents, and much happier in relationship. I just want to share one I thought I'll share this since everybody's talking about COVID. It's also mindset. I have come across my friends who are scared. They are worried about what's happening. I've also come across people who are well informed. They know how to deal with the situation. And then, as Atul spoke about the innovation mindset, right? People are making the most of it despite being in COVID situation. I think that's where I thought I'll share with the audience how even in the worst pandemic, the mindset is helping people sail through COVID, and the mindset is helping people get worried and hold up at homes. And I'm not taking away the health issues or the age related issues. I think elderly people and young kids definitely need to take care. But I'm saying in general, your mindset affects the situation that you go through. Just the last slide, last two slides. Again, just showing mindset, growth mindset philosophy existed from ages. This is a very famous quote by Thomas Edison. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This is again a very famous Indian, we all know. And this is about courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. It's again a great example of growth mindset. And I'm sure, there would be more thoughts around it. Last one I just want to share with you is the cycle that people get into. I have researched it in the last 2 years in corporate, how some employees, and I would probably relate to that, maybe even in school or colleges, how a fixed mindset person gradually goes down in terms of success factor, percentage of successes in their favor, whereas a growth mindset person, they continuously keep doing the hard work, keep bouncing back. I think Rabia spoke about grit and perseverance. I think grit is a great part and parcel of growth mindset. You don't give up easily, right? So I'm going to park myself here, Sharon. I think I have taken the 10 minutes that were given to me. I'll check if, I'm happy to take any questions. But I think what is critical for all of us is, how do we look at our own mind thought process? How do we look at what's going in our head? How do we look at the language we hear and talk every day? Right? To me, language builds the culture, and it's critical both on teachers and on parents to build that critical culture of growth mindset. One last example I've shared with you. We were in Singapore recently and we came back. A lot of people talk about the Western education and why it is so positive on children. Not everybody. I think what people see there is a lot of empathy. What a lot of us have seen is when we were growing up, I think there was a lack of empathy, both at home and in surroundings around us, which made us only focus on success, which made us believe that if you are successful, you are doing well. If you fail, you are a loser. But I'm just going to park myself here and happy to take any questions. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such powerful presentation and your insight as well, like how growth mindset can lead to a higher achievement. Thank you so much. Uh, as the year 2020 ended, we have seen many ups and downs, and even though there were lots of challenges, but Sharp NGO was able to achieve and initiate a lot of innovative programs and projects. So, and we thank you each and every one of you for supporting us and being there with us. And we hope and we believe that we will be able to achieve more milestones in 2021. So here's a short video of Sharp NGO's 2020 in Refined, having a year full of new achievement and new challenges. Meanwhile, I request the audience to drop their question in the Q&A box. Also raise their hand because we are going to take up some live question as well. And with the beginning of new year, we have introduced a sharpest question of the day, where one best live question will get an Amazon gift hamper worth 1,000. So audience, get ready with your question. Drop in the Q&A box. Raise your hand, and here's the video.
you, Ritik, for the video. And now we start with the Q&A round questions. And we will be taking the questions live. I invite Vishali Puri from the participants. Please unmute yourself and firstly introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Wow. Thank you, Sharon, and good evening, all the panelists. It was indeed a very nice session. I am an emotional wellness coach and I work with students and adults alike. One thing that I wanted to ask was, even though in this pandemic we have seen a lot of changes in the mental health, but when we talk about the mindset, there's a gross difference in the mindset of our parents and the students, right? And even adults have faced this problem that even at the age of 35 they have a conflict with their families. And when we're talking about young kids, shouldn't we take into consideration the mindset of the parents and counsel the parents, instead of counseling the students or mentoring the students in that, because students are affected a lot. And when we talk about Dr. Neeta also talked about that they should look for a confidant, but hardly everyone is there on the mobile. The parents are there on the mobile, the friends are there on the mobile or the laptop, so the students is not getting any confidant, so as to say. Then how should we go about it? And I would really look forward to Sharp NGO if we can arrange a webinar for the parents also, because and teachers also, because they are the one who are the first line dealing with the kids, and kids are retracting from them. They've become I would say rebellious. So any one of the panelists, all the panelists can just answer what can be done in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vishali. Mr. Atul, would you like to answer?
Yeah, so during a lot of my parenting awareness programs and student awareness programs, the first and foremost thing I tell all of them, is that life has given us the opportunity of a lifetime for all of us to be together as a family. So this is the time to actually bond, to understand, and to reflect on our relationships with each other, especially with growing children. So we need to definitely have focused attention on what they are doing, what they are involved in, and provide them with the right route or channelize them into the right direction, rather than just letting them do what they have to, because it's very easy to do something that is easy to do. The effort comes in only where there is something that is difficult. And like Dr. Neeta Bali said, there needs to be a regimen. There needs to be a timetable, basically regime, right? So have that discipline incorporated in your daily tasks. That is the only way we can get our children and ourselves to be structured and to align with the various changes and distractions that may come in. Of course, whatever we say, there is no thumb rule. One size fits all doesn't work. These are all pointers that we all have, and we are all learning.
So, Sharon, I want to add up something over here. As Dr. Atul said, that we as parents, we have to guide them, right? Not let them do whatever they want to do. I completely agree to Dr. Atul. However, because I'm also into a lot of parenting sessions and life skill sessions. So I always tell the parents that they can't force their kids to live their life. Like students, the kids have their own dreams to fulfill. First, we need to build up that confidence, that rapport with our own child, be it as a parent or as an educator. Show them that we are supporting them. They need to understand that we care for them, we are their well-wisher, and we are not there to interfere in their lives. So this is very important, to make them understand and to understand their psychology and their mental state, for guiding them to the right path and not making them rebellious, and do whatever they want to do. We need to be there as a mentor, as a guide, and not as a proper teacher who is just interfering, or as a parent who is just interfering in their life and not letting them do what they want to do to fulfill their goals or to fulfill their own dreams. So that is all I would like to add up. That's all. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Atul sir. Thank you, Rabia ma'am. So my next question, I would like to, for the next question, I would like to invite Vinita from the participants. Vinita,
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, ma'am. Good
good
evening to
evening.
all. But the
Please
resource.
introduce yourself and also mention the city you live in.
Yeah, I'm Vinita from Mount Abu Public School. It's in Rohini, Delhi. So, I mean, first of all, a big thank you to all the esteemed resource persons for such an enriching session. And I really want to know, like, as an educator, as a teacher, how can we as teacher balance? Like, parents come from a fixed mindset. They ultimately want 98%, 95%. They're not willing to let students participate even in debate competitions during examination days. So, I mean, how do we explain them, even if we tell them that, okay, we motivate them, we show them videos, we organize sessions, but somehow, it's becoming very difficult to convince the parents when they see those, those cutoffs in the newspapers. So, I mean, as an educator, how can we motivate the parents that, yes, I mean, they have to be more open and there are more opportunities as well. So, I mean, if any of the esteemed resource person can guide me. Thank you.
May I
Neeta,
please, yeah,
sure,
may I?
ma'am.
Because as a teacher, I think I can relate very well, Sharon, to
Sure,
what
ma'am.
ma'am has just mentioned. See, as educators, we need to realize that children are not the only ones who are going through this turmoil. The parents are going through a lot of emotional turbulence. Let me tell you, as a head of school, I know that there are parents who are maybe in businesses whose businesses have taken a battering. There are parents who are employed, who are working, who are salaried. They are suffering from severe salary cuts. They're finding it very, very difficult to pay the school fees. And they're grappling with a number of other difficult situations. So, first, we need to have empathy for our parents. As teachers, we need to understand completely that parents also are going through a lot of turbulence and difficulty. So we need to show a lot of empathy for our parents. Second, because most parents have been brought up with a fixed mindset. I know it's like swimming against the current, trying to convince them that marks don't matter. We have to make them understand that the education is not mere reading, rote learning, and regurgitating in an examination and securing marks. That there is so much more to life, and it's not necessary. As teachers, you will need to have them see value in a holistic growth, and it's not necessary that those who secure very high marks are likely to do very well in life, because I think the success in life has more to do with life skills rather than real life skills. And those skills are cultivated not necessarily through the examination and the marks that students secure in an examination. So repeatedly, I think as teachers, you will need to continue to reinforce, and also perhaps in your assessments, you need to give a certain weightage. I'm talking about in-school exam, school-led exams. Of course, we have little control over exams that are conducted by boards, because boards do their own thing, right? At least the national curriculum. So boards do their own thing. However, in the school system, we need to set aside a certain, segment of assessment as co-scholastic achievement. So once parents realize that you also get grades and marks or whatever, that there is a certain credibility also about co-scholastic achievement, they will be that much more willing to allow the children to participate in the co-scholastic activities. But as educators and teachers, you will have to have immense, immense patience, because you have to redefine the mindsets and change. But the change is happening. And that is the reason the new education policy has come about, because that change is already happening. I hope that somewhat answers your question.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank
I
you.
just want to,
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah,
I just want
sure,
to
sir.
the question. See, I do believe teachers are the rock foundation of a great nation. My parents were teachers. My wife is a teacher, so I do believe in it. I think my only humble request to all the teachers, principals who are on this seminar and otherwise, don't give up on either your students or on parents. I'm a parent too. I'm a victim of a fixed mindset, but recently exposed to growth mindset, and I realize how badly I've raised my two daughters who've been very patient with me. I'm not a bad father, but I think I'm just talking about the mindset, the language at home, right? And I think schools and colleges need to create an environment where the language they talk even to students changes, right? The power of yet. You're not good at it yet. I'm also learning. I think don't give up on us, ma'am, and principals and teachers. Don't give us on parents, despite COVID or no COVID. I think it's a joint responsibility. I do see that. I can't say put the pressure on teacher to turn the situation or the social fabric, but I think it's a joint partnership. And you're right. Like in corporate, if I have to change the culture, it starts from the top. For all you know, we may have to start parenting parents, that what's the right way of being a good responsible father or a good responsible mother.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Absolutely right. No, not at all. The parents are, in fact, we always keep child at the center, and we parents and teachers and school administration all work together for them only. The only thing was that how we can motivate the parents. Like we are getting such sessions, so I think we should also expose our parents to more such sessions, so that like we are also broadening our horizon of learning. So it should be same for them. And thank you so much, sir. Really, thanks a lot. Wonderful session. I mean, thanks a lot to everyone.
Thank you, Vinita, and thank you, Dr. Nita, and thank you, Raman, sir.
Sharon, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Nita ma'am, and thank you, Raman sir. So I would like to invite Harsh from the participant. Harsh, please unmute yourself and please introduce yourself and the city and ask the question.
Hi Sharon, am I audible?
Yes.
So my name is Harsh and I'm from Delhi. All I wanted to ask was, how can one self-analyze if one operates with a growth mindset or not, and take steps by own to develop a growth mindset?
Uh, yes, Nita
So
ma'am, would you like?
I could help Harsh a little as an educator. All right. I don't know how old are you, Harsh? But I think first you need to understand the difference between the fixed and the growth mindset. If you completely understand how beautifully one of the panelists in his presentation had spoken about what comprises a fixed mindset and what comprises a growth mindset. So once you know the difference between the fixed mindset and a growth mindset, the fact that you're asking this question already reflects reflects that you're moving in the right direction, that you're looking at a growth mindset. Every time your mind is assailed by a sense of failure, you need to redirect your mind and tell yourself, well, this doesn't serve my purpose because it's really not helping me. So reframe your vocabulary, the languages that you use. All right, reframe your thinking. Also, I would say, as a young person, if I'm sure you're a very young person, um, make sure that you exercise and indulge in a lot of physical activity. Please remember, your physiology changes your psychology. Your physiology changes your psychology. So go out for a walk, exercise, make sure that you experience a sense of physical well-being, and psychological and emotional well-being is bound to happen.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So there is a confusion, like even in the chat box, one of the participants asked that how to differentiate between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So, if Rabia ma'am, would you like to answer?
Yeah, I think, in fact, as Dr. Neeta also said, and Sir also, Mr. Raman also said, he has already showed the presentation. When we are ready to accept the failure as a ladder to success, when we are open to the feedbacks, when we are open to learn new things, it is the growth mindset. We are ready, we are moving into the right direction of a growth mindset. We are growing because every failure leads to success. When we are not accepting the mistakes, when we are not taking the initiative, and when you're not ready to take the responsibility of whatever went wrong, and we are just adamant with the fixed mindset that, I have to do this, this is done, that means this is done, this cannot be wrong because I have done this. That means you're not ready to take charge of the wrong and the right, until you're not able to ready to accept what is wrong and what is right. So there we can easily differentiate between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. As ma'am said, that the psychology means the physical psychology and emotional well-being go side by side. Our mental, we have to change our mindsets. We have to develop our mindsets that yes, the moment we are ready to accept that what is going wrong is because of me, and I am ready to take charge of it, I will resolve it, I'm a problem solver and not a critic. That is where it comes, that it is the growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. And I hope I am able to answer this question.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So,
Sharon,
the
if you
next part.
allow, I did, I actually held one slide back, just for benefit of everybody. If you allow me, I'm just going to share this for nothing,
Sure, sure.
not more than 45 seconds. To just what to Rabia said. This is what we are talking about as a fixed mindset and growth mindset. And as you read through the slide, or if you look at it, as I said, I'm a visual person, and hence I like to represent visually. uh, you can differentiate, one answer that Dr. Neeta gave. How do you fix your how do you address to your fixed mindset? I think it's a lot of tuning, it's a lot of mental tuning, it's a lot of rewiring yourself. Keep thinking positively, keep thinking about opportunities, keep thinking about how will I not give up on something that I'm not good at. There is a question on the chat: can somebody learn music, painting at an adult stage? Why not? But it's a lot of hard work, right? Growth mindset is actually a philosophy a lot of athletes, successful athletes use, and that's why they have coaches, right? So growth mindset, while it's new for a lot of us, but growth mindset is not a new thought process or a new uh, buzzword when it comes to athletes, especially the global athletes who are so successful. I think they keep working on their failures. They keep looking at their videos, why they did not achieve, in their last game. Look at cricketers. They keep looking at videos of their games. How do I improve my technique? And maybe they are trying a 10,000 time to improve a technique. So I just thought I'll share this more for the benefit of the audience, and happy to share the deck with the Sharp team if you want to circulate it.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much. So here, I would like invite Shivani for the next round of the questions.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Sharon. So I now invite and take up the question from Miss Nana. Miss Nana.
Hi, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And first of all, I would like to share that it's a great webinar and it was a wonderful learnings I had today. So my question is to Dr. Neeta. Ma'am, as you have said earlier also in your talk that it's important to reinforce young people to build their self-esteem. Can you please throw some light on the ways of how to reinforce this and how can I self-check myself in this?
Certainly. How do you reinforce your self-esteem? First, I think, as I have been repeatedly saying, we have to watch out for what kind of language we are using. Words have a power of their own. Let me tell you that, whatever words we utter, are bound to impact our psychology and will reflect very clearly in our actions. So watch out for what kind of language you are using. Second, I would say embrace your imperfections. It's all right not to be perfect. It's perfectly all right not to be perfect. You don't need to seek approval from everyone who's around you all the time. You must believe that if you are trying, please replace the word failing with the word learning. When you replace the word failing, stop believing that you have failed. Please believe when one of our panelists had very beautifully spoken about Edison and spoken about failure. In fact, is not failure. It is an indicator that you simply need to change direction. You simply need to change your strategy. So stop believing that you have failed, even if somebody else tells you you have failed. You tell yourself, I haven't failed. I am learning. So if I'm learning, I am going to get better. Please believe in that. So stop seeking approval, right? When you try all this, treat all your challenges as opportunities for growth. Treat every challenge, tell yourself, well, this is a challenge. I know it is a challenge, but I also know that inherent in this challenge is an opportunity for me to grow and learn new things, right? So every time you do this, your self-esteem is going to go up. So as I said, stop looking to others for reinforcement, for validation. You don't need validation from anyone except yourself. Please believe me. When you start to believe that about yourself, I don't need anyone to validate what I am doing. All right? As long as I'm convinced that I'm growing, things will start to move. Your self-esteem will go up by many, many notches.
Thank you. Oh, Rabia ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to add a few, just 3 pointers here. I think that's the end of the session. I'm not too sure. So we should adapt to the fact that we should have the never give up attitude. When we understand that, yes, I can and I will do it, automatically it's on the right track of growth mindset. The second is there is nothing called perfection. Nobody is perfect on this earth. If we are perfect, that means we are God. Even God is not perfect. We are all learning. So learning is a part of our growth. And the third is accept your failures, accept your challenges, accept all the challenges of life. When we have crossed a mountain of 6 to 7 months of this pandemic, we will be able to cross anything. We'll be able to, we are more courageous now, and we can overcome each and every challenge of our life. So just understand this fact that yes, the more problems, the more courage we get. That's point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Neeta ma'am. Thank you so much, Rabia ma'am. So our next live question will be from Gauri Patil. Hello. Okay, Miss Gauri. Okay, so the next live question we will take from Dipti.
Hello,
Yeah, Gauri. Hi.
am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are. You can ask your
Ma'am.
question.
So my question is, yeah. I would like to tell you that I have been in a continuous dilemma as I multitask and dream to be achiever in the armed forces. But there are things that hinder my preparation, such as lack of self-confidence, belief in the process, anxiety, and fear of not achieving my dreams. So I would like you all to please suggest me uh, the best that I can rely on to and deal positively with both failure and achievements.
Thank you. Rabia ma'am or Raman sir, would you like to answer this question?
Shivani, can you just repeat what Gauri said? I'm sorry, I missed the question.
The question is actually how can she be more self-confident and how can she accept her own failures as the opportunities for her. This was the actually question.
Okay. Thanks, Rabia. See, I can share with you, Gauri, and I don't know in what state of mind you are in, but I'm glad you've attended this session, and hopefully it should help you. In my 25 years of career, and I know your question was specific to I did hear defense services is where I think, sorry for the interruption on the flow. I've gone through in 25 years, I've gone through a dot-com burst in US. I've lost my job in US, which was a $100,000 paying job. I came back and started my career with a 10,000 paying job, resurrected my career over last 20 odd years, seen multiple failures, good bosses, bad bosses. I think it's the choices, Gauri, we make. Another thing is surround yourself with positive people. You'll have a lot of folks who would enjoy your failure. I can tell you, I have seen when I went to US, I was probably the first in the group. And a lot of people were happy, a lot of people were unhappy. When I came back, I could sense a lot of people are unhappy seeing me a failure, right? Because I was the first to probably go. And I'm just giving an example. I don't mean bad for people around me or friends around me. I think pick up the positive people around you. Talk to your family. Like Atul spoke, Rabia spoke, Dr. Neeta spoke. This pandemic has given us time to connect with people. This pandemic has given time for us to share our feelings. Talk to somebody in your family, a good friend. Share what you're going through. Look for more positivity within you. And growth mindset, I will seriously encourage, God, if this is the first time you're hearing about growth mindset, read more about growth mindset, whether through Google or buy the book by Carol Dweck, or talk to teachers or your mentor if you have any. Just reflect. As I said, failure is a trophy. I've heard somebody say success is a lousy teacher because success seduces you to learn nothing, and you believe that's the way of life, right? So if you have somehow failed, look at it more positively and say, okay, I know what I need to do differently to succeed. And Gauri, let me assure you, in our multiple years of success, that people you see, the panelists who are here, I'm sure we have a story which is not that happy story. And today we are talking positively because those unhappy stories will help us become stronger, better, and more successful in our approach towards life. Right? So I'm just going to park here. I don't know what situation you are really in, but please don't give up. Surround yourself with positive people. Read about this subject. Panelists would be more than happy if you want to reach out to any one of us or to Sharp NGO for further help. We'll be happy to support you as well. Rabia, do you want to go next, please?
I want to say something, a very small thing. I think all of us must be remembering that story, including Gauri, that spider story. कितनी बार वो गिरा था, वो अपना जब वेब बना रहा था वॉल पे चढ़ते चढ़ते 7 times, right? So 8th time it got succeeded. So please try until you succeed. It's self-confident in him that they did not give up. So just have that kind of attitude, not to give up at any point of time. It's all within you. Nobody can give those those positivity or those confidence to you. It is all within you. You just have to understand, analyze it. Sit quietly, as Dr. Neeta very rightly said. Go for a walk, spend some me time with yourself, and you will be able to build up that confidence in yourself.
Just very quickly, I wanted to, she's asked a question which is so relevant. A lot of young people struggle with this when they don't succeed in one field. They kind of give up hope. We have to learn to accept failure also with a lot of grace. Second thing is that always have a backup plan. I always tell people, have a plan B. In life, you can never be sure if plan A is going to succeed. So please, for heaven's sake, have a plan B. So if the first plan doesn't succeed, go for plan B. All right? Don't just give up. Plan well. So just keep a second option ready. And find a silver lining. There is always a lesson to be learned in failure. Invariably, I think all of us, I'm sure all of us have failed at times and have emerged and look at life as one big movie, because it's not small episodes that matter. The life is made of an entire one big movie. So look at life in entirety. Please don't get discouraged at all. This is only an episode in your life. All right? There's a long life that awaits you. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you to all the panelists. So our last and but not the least question is from Miss Deepti.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Deepti, you are.
Okay, so my question is, how can I recognize friends and other communities who are demotivating me, and like how should I go about handling them or approaching that?
So, Rabia ma'am.
Very sweet question, Deepti. How can I understand that they are demoting me, demotivating me? I think Mr. Raman also wanted to say something. He is smiling actually. So, Deepti, I would like to say here, you yourself have given the answer that how would I understand that who is demotivating me? When you already know that your friends are demotivating yourself, you don't have to ask this question to anybody in that matter. Try and understand. If somebody is telling you, okay, Deepti, you're not looking good, or Deepti, you're not doing right. Why, as I think ma'am also said once in one of her speech, just to answer to one of the questions, you don't need approval from anybody. You are your own decision maker. What is right and what is wrong for you? Talk to the right kind of people, and those right kind of people are your teachers, your mentors, your parents. They are your well-wishers. Never depend upon the other people, never depend upon the approvals of your surroundings. Because at the end of the day, there will be people, you will find people who will keep pulling you down in some or the other way, and keep demotivating you, discourage you that yes, this is not going right in your life, or this is not going wrong, this is not right by you have not done this work, you have not done this task on time. But if you yourself are confident about it, that yes, I am looking good today and I can do this today, and this work I have, whether I have delayed the work, but the work has been done rightly by me, that means they are just demotivating. So you don't have to ignore them, or you don't have to lose their company immediately, but try to don't focus on those messages. The more you focus on those messages, you are losing out your own confidence.
Rabia, just to add to that,
Yes, ma'am.
ideally, it could be my personal belief, but when I speak to a lot of young people, including my own kids, ideally, I think you need to remove toxic people from your environment. If possible, remove the toxic people from your environment so that your mental well-being is not affected. All right. You obviously cannot remove your parents, but if your parents are also toxic, you need to have a conversation with them and let them know that you are not willing to accept any kind of toxicity around yourself. So I think let's just be very clear, that you are not going to accept certain things. Be very unequivocal and categorical in stating that I will not accept any toxic, derogatory statements about myself because I care for myself. Please believe all of us have a right to care for ourselves. Believe that and let everybody else know about it. Okay?
Absolutely, ma'am. I completely agree.
So, Deepthi, I'll just add, something to what Ravi and Dr. Neeta said. You will have a lot of good friends who probably don't know the power of language. So they necessarily don't mean to hurt you. That's how they've been raised. That's the language they have used. That's how they got motivated. कि तू उससे अच्छा नहीं है, ये करके दिखा, right? I've done that to my kids and I'm not changing my language. They necessarily don't mean to do harm to you. I think the trick is you are lucky you've attended this session, or maybe you're reading about this subject already. Get more understanding of it. Change your view around the words, the language, the world around you. Maybe you will help those people with your positivity, your growth mindset. Like, it's not always about giving up on people, right? It's also about learning a new thing and helping people around you who probably don't know that they are fixed mindset or negative mindset. And with your contribution, help, education, nudging, they might change, right? So my suggestion to people who are surrounded by negative people, is first change yourself before expecting them to change, and then nudge them for a better change, because they will see the positivity in you. They will see the calmness in you. I've been lucky to have great mentors, and again, I'm relating what we are talking to corporate life, because at the end of it, anybody who goes through school, my daughters are going through education. What do I tell them? Get a great degree, get into a great job, make money, and be happy. Wrong coaching, right? I have to tell them, learn, grow your wings, and enjoy doing what you want to do. And that's language is coming gradually, right? But I think it's also about imbibing what you're learning. It should not be one shot of vaccination of growth mindset, and suddenly you're talking growth mindset, and after 1 week, you niche ho gaya aapka motivation, and say, oh, I'm surrounded by such people or parents. Just be firm. I agree to Dr. Neeta. We have choices, but a lot of people don't have choices in life. Some of us have choices because we are financially well to do. Some of us don't have choices, and we have to do things which we have to do for our livelihood. And a lot of young talent that comes into jobs are not coming into jobs for self-esteem and those, Maslow's hierarchy. They come into job to make a living because they have to feed mouths and families. It's only at a later stage you realize, what, I've started to enjoy what I'm doing. But if you keep a growth mindset, the likelihood of you enjoying your life is much more than people who have fixed mindset. A long one, but I think don't give up on good friends, even if they have a negative language. Try to change them. If you can't, then you've done your best, and that's the time to move on.
Best way to do that is just prove them wrong. Show them that you are the best. Just prove them wrong. They will automatically change, because you can't change them. You have to change yourself at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Dipti got her answer. And thank you to all the audience for coming up with such an amazing life question. And special thanks to our panelist, Dr. Neeta, Ms. Rabia, Mr. Raman, and Mr. Atul. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a positive webinar, for such a positive discussion on how we should put ourselves first, how we can bring change to ourselves in a positive way, and how being a learner and accepting failure is important. So thank you to all the panelists. And Sharon, would you like to announce the winner who got the Amazon gift voucher?
Yeah, sure. So the winner for the sharpest question of the day is Vishali Puri. Congratulations, Vishali. And someone from Sharp NGO will be getting in touch with you for the gift. Thank you so much. I once again thank all the panelists for joining for the webinar and taking out time for the webinar. Thank you, Dr. Neeta. Thank you, Rabia ma'am. Thank you, Raman sir and Atul sir. And all the audience, thank you so much for joining in. And at last, we have a post poll. So here is the poll on your screen. And also for further updates on our work and webinar, please subscribe our website, www.schoolindia.org. And Sharp is also starting awareness session related to eye care. I request all the principals in the webinar to register their school for the program. You will get the certificate in your mail soon. And please also check your spam. And we hope to see you all next Saturday for another fruitful discussion on sleep pattern of adolescent in school, impact on their mood and academic performance. And thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Wish you all a happy new year.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Bye.